All right, now this is going to seem really super easy. Two-way repeated ANOVA. Because a two-way repeated ANOVA is very, very similar to a one-way ANOVA that's repeated, a one-way repeated ANOVA. And it also shares many similar properties to a two-way independent ANOVA. So there's very, very little new things that you're going to learn when we talk about the two-way repeated. So let's start with the checklist. First of all, you have two factors, independent variables. What gives that away? Two-way. This two means you have two factors, okay? Now, because it's repeated, it means that either each factor is within subjects or one or both factors have been paired or matched, all right? So you could have, in theory, both factors within, both factors are paired or matched, or you could have one of each, all right? Because remember, if they've been paired or matched, they're treated as though they are within subjects, okay? You are looking for a difference in the means. Remember, all the t-tests, all the ANOVAs are looking for differences between means. So that means you are not looking for what? What is that? Right. Whatever that word is, we are not looking for it. What are the assumptions? Hopefully by now, you know that all the t-tests and all the ANOVAs have the or. Whoops. My timing was off. They have the core, all right? Which means the dependent variable is normally distributed in the population. Participants were selected at random from the population, and the DV was measured on an interval/ratio scale. All right, so obviously it can't be both interval or and ratio. It's one or the other. The dependent variable was either interval or ratio. These are identical to the one-way repeated ANOVA, but do you remember there is that plus one more for the one-way repeated ANOVA? What was that plus one more? Sphericity. Now I'm saying maybe. Sphericity for the one-way repeated ANOVA is always tested. Okay, so absorb that. Sphericity, the assumption of sphericity, is always tested in a one-way repeated ANOVA. But for the two-way repeated ANOVA, it might be tested. All right, sphericity is one of those assumptions that's only tested when you have two or more, sphericity is only tested when you have three or more levels, all right, of your repeated factor, of your within subjects or matched factor, all right? So again, sphericity is only tested when your within subjects factor, which could be matched, right? Could have matched. That within subjects factor has to have three or more levels. Okay, so that's why it's always tested in a one-way repeated ANOVA, because a one-way repeated ANOVA for sure is going to have three or more levels. But you could have a two-way ANOVA, and what if your within subjects factor only has two levels, right? Do you see how, it's not always going to be tested? That whatever the within subjects factor is, it has to have three or more levels, okay? All right, so we just addressed this. When would sphericity be tested? In a nutshell, whenever your within subjects factor or the paired factor, where you've used matching or pairing, has three or more levels.